Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Fearless Generations with Terry Sayer and Kelly Fox.
Hello and welcome to Fearless Generations. This is Kelly Fox, and we are talking the 12 Steps to Freedom. Tonight we are doing Step 5, Accountable, and we are excited to be continuing to talk on this subject. Terry and I are actually together tonight. We're on our way home from a lovely day at Disney, California, and we are happy to be together. Terry, how are you doing?
Well, I am doing fine. I walked. I sat a lot too, but the whole day, and I still have energy. So it's kind of like a test for myself to just prove that I was gaining back my stamina. So I'm very, very happy.
Well, that's good to hear. We love hearing that you're getting better. We have a awesome guest coach on the show tonight. We're excited to bring her on. Please welcome Tina Palmgren.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. So, Tina, please introduce yourself to our audience. Tell us what it is you get to do and who it is you get to serve.
All right. Thank you. So I am coming all the way from Stevens Point, Wisconsin. I own Excelling Your Business, which is a company that I help you go from Excel to Excel. So working mostly with Microsoft Excel and helping you be accountable to your business. So it's all about how can you be more efficient and more productive with what you're doing, making your processes automated so you don't have to do the work and let Excel do it for you. So who I serve is mostly small businesses, not just women, but women and men, although I do have more women in my services than not. But it's really anybody that's really a heart-centered business that wants to grow and be more, to do more good in the world and make that difference for them. I help them be able to have that time to do that.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah. Efficiency and SOPs are very helpful with small business owners, believe me. Not having to do something over and over again that somebody else can do is always nice. So love that. So need it.
Exactly, and especially those repetitive tasks, a lot of those can be automated, so they're easily handed off to somebody else, or you can still do them because it only takes a minute or two compared to the hours it used to take.
Yeah, I love that. So for you, Tina, what does accountable mean to you?
Well, for myself, I need to be accountable to myself because I am a solo entrepreneur. So I don't have anybody else telling me I need to do this. I don't have a boss. That would be me. So being able to track things in Excel, I use mostly Excel to track stuff too. That helps me be more accountable because I'm actually seeing what's going on and being able to analyze what's working and not working by marking down what I'm doing and being able to track who I need to follow up with to make sure that I'm actually accountable to my clients and different things as well, and who could be potential clients. So making sure that I'm tracking who I need to talk to when, and then actually doing that follow-up.
Yeah. And does that come into play when you're working with your clients for supporting them with their accountability?
So what I do, depending on if I'm training them or if I'm actually doing a consulting job for them, so I do a little bit of both. What I do with training is I always have an implementation period as well. So every week we do a training, and then we meet for an hour, and I work with them on things that they have going on in their office, and I help them implement what they're actually learning from Excel. So they're taking and making that what they're learning practical and using it. Because I remember back in the day learning Excel and going back to work and going, oh, that was great, but how in the world how do I make that work for me? And I have a lot of knowledge of doing that over the years, and so I'm really good at showing people and helping them set up their spreadsheets so they will work for them. So that's pretty much what I do. And then if it's a consulting person or client, then I work with them. We look at what their procedures are, and then I automate that for them and then teach them how to use it. And then I check in periodically for at least a month, and then every other month or so, just to make sure that it's still working for them, and that's helping them to be accountable to make sure that it's what I created is working.
Awesome. I love that. Terry, how about you?
Well, I'm listening to Tina talk about Excel and systems and being accountable to your business and tracking. I mean, that's I was the sixth area of need in my own business. That would be it. So being accountable to having standard operational procedures and tracking data and keeping an accountability around, the information that data provides us is something that I'm lacking, something that I could certainly use some assistance with, and I'm sure that that's something we'll be looking into as we build our business. But for me, accountability is really being accountable to myself. And so there are a lot of ways that I practice being accountable to myself and my daily practices. So I'm accountable to myself in that I foster a positive attitude and have gratitude in my life every day. So I keep a gratitude journal. I keep a journal of acknowledgments of what I've accomplished so that I can feel like I am enough and I am doing what I can and I'm taking action around the focus that I have. So for me, accountability is really to myself, which is what you said as well, Tina, to start with, is to be accountable to myself for my goals and for my dreams and for what I want. And so that's a daily practice. And I use several fearless living strategies to develop that into an internal practice so that I don't have to think about it. And it becomes like you're talking about automating procedures and data collection and how Excel can help you to do that. And my goal is to internalize my accountability practices so that I just complete them. I have a list of non-negotiables that I'm going to do every day, and I do those. And that's how I can stay accountable to myself. And it just makes me feel more confident and capable that I have those in place and that they're internalized and that I do them on a daily basis. Then I can add to my focus by taking action in another area that I might choose. Let's say I chose data collection as a practice, and I could start to acquire those skills until I can internalize those as well. So it's kind of like a step-by-step process for me. I'll add something new to my non-negotiables that I want to do daily, and then I'll practice those until I can internalize them. And in that journey of internalizing a new practice, I also take the time to evaluate if that is a practice that's going to assist me being more accountable, or is it something I've taken on because someone else did, or because of my FOMO disease, or whatever it is, to be sure that whatever I'm taking on is in alignment with my values. So, because I tend to be a person who jumps, somebody's doing something and, I want to do that, I'm going to put that practice in, and then in reality that practice is not something that's in alignment with my goals and my dreams. And instead of continuing to try to internalize it or practice internalizing it, I can let that go. So it's always a give and take when I'm adding to my accountability for myself in building my business or in building relationships or in my, my daily work. So that's my thought on accountability.
Yeah. Excuse me. Thank you, Terry. Tonight we're talking about how when we're accountable, it's a confidence booster. And so, with your clients or with yourself, do you see that as you become more accountable, that your confidence grows?
Oh, definitely. And especially like my clients, once they see how Excel can be used to help them, and as they grow and make themselves more efficient and productive, and they see themselves making formulas and different things that they're using their numbers for. And when you're doing that analysis, and once they get to that portion where towards the end when we're training and we're actually looking at the analysis and how we can look at our data in different ways to see trends, it gives them the ability to make really competent decisions based on their business, because so many people and so many business owners don't know where they stand throughout the year with their accounting. Been there myself because I just didn't want to look at it. But having that ability to look at it at any time and know where you're at and see if there's any new trends coming out gives people tons of confidence to make better business decisions to grow their business. Or maybe they need to shut a certain line down or something like that. But otherwise there's other trends that they see. And so that ability gives them the confidence to grow their business or to adapt to something new that they would not have seen if they weren't looking and didn't know how to do it. So, yeah, definitely builds confidence.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I feel like when I can prove to myself that I can keep a commitment to myself, or I can do something that I went after, or whatever it might be, I definitely feel more confident. I definitely feel like I can, do it again, or I can be consistent, or I can whatever. Like, it builds my confidence and allows me to be allows me to have that boost that I need to stay committed, to stay accountable.
Exactly. Yeah, once you have that you do it once, you do it twice, it gets easier. You do it 3 times, and every time you do it after, it becomes easier and easier, and it makes it almost like you want to do it every day because you're now seeing the results from it. And as you do that, that continues to build that confidence, and you build confidence in so many different spots, not just there, it's like, hey, and then you think about, I could do this. And you get some other ideas of how can I be more efficient? How can I be more productive? How can I track something else that is going to help me? Like Terry said, she does journaling and things. You can have just even a gratitude journal in Excel. And, you know, every once in a while, you can just go back and look at everything and see it. And it's like, wow, you know, I've got a ton to be grateful for. Or like your accomplishments as you're doing those things, that can be tracked as well. You know, because I don't think as women, most of us don't give ourselves enough credit. I know I sure don't for things that I've done. And I think that's really important to celebrate what we've done.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have 2 tools that are just like that. I don't put them in Excel. I put them in a journal. I write 5 gratitudes and 5 acknowledgments, is what we call them, every day. And it puts me in a position where I choose to say, yeah, I did this, and to not downplay it or diminish it in any way, but to acknowledge it and to, congratulate myself, kind of acknowledge that I did do something, I was productive, or I stepped out of my comfort zone, or I, took a step towards a goal or whatever it might be. And I do that every day. So it's definitely
awesome. Oops, did I lose you?
No, we're still here. So yeah, I think that I never thought about keeping track of them in Excel, but that's because I don't use Excel at this point. But that's definitely interesting to think about. So when you were talking about momentum, I think is something to the effect of keeping track of it and seeing it, and it makes me think of how my kids have their streaks, which is like continuous, showing up on some, one of their social media things every day. And so it keeps track of how many days you've shown up. And if you miss a day, then you lose your streak. So you start over at 1. And like, before they go to bed, they're all like, well, I have to do my streaks. And I'm like, then do your streaks. You knew you were going to have to go to bed at this time. You should have already done your streaks. But it's like, but they like don't want to go to bed without doing them because they don't want to go back to 0. Right. And so there is that motivation to, keep you consistent, right? I don't know if, if these websites fully understood what they were doing when they created these streaks, but maybe they did because it keeps people coming back over and over again every day. So
it definitely does. I have a meditation site that I am up to 289 consecutive days. Tomorrow will be 290. And every 10 days they give you a star. So it's like you don't want to break the streak. I get it completely, and even if I just do 1 minute of a meditation, it counts for the day, so it has been very helpful to help me be accountable to myself. So I think that's another way that they are getting us to be accountable in a way for certain things. I don't know if just the pod or whatever websites they're doing, the social media, is if that's really helpful, but I've not seen that where that is. I guess I've never paid attention at Facebook or some of those have that, but I hope not.
Well, it's apps. I guess I shouldn't say social media, but it's apps that they do.
Okay, yeah. And that's what that meditation one is. It's an app that I do, and it tracks. And I think it's very helpful because it's like, I don't want to break that streak. So it's keeping it top of mind for me to make sure that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And it's really helped me make a good habit.
0, that would be a big drop, right? So
Exactly. It doesn't, I don't know, I think the consecutive streak would drop to 0, but then they have another one that says how many days you've actually been on it. So I have a 20-day difference between the two from when I started. So when I first started, I wasn't consistent every day because I didn't realize it counted that. And then once I realized it, I've not missed since the end of April of last year. So it is accountable. It's kind of cool. I understand exactly what you mean.
Yeah. And it's helpful when you know that those type of things support you, then you can implement them yourself. Right? Like in my journal where I write my acknowledgments, my gratitudes, I write the date at the top of the page. Yeah. So if I miss a day, then the dates there's dates missing, right? So I know that that I'm going to have missing dates. So I go in and I do it every day. I also have an accountability partner that supports me with that as well. But it definitely increases confidence, in yourself to be able to complete something, to be able to, add in those new things that you want to add in, to be accountable, like Terry was saying, adding, step by step, adding new things in. It gives you the confidence to believe that you can do that. Wouldn't you think, Terry?
Yes, definitely. I think that for me, I have 5 non-negotiables that I do every morning. Sometimes I finish them in the afternoon, but I finish them by the day. And there's a group of friends that I have that do this program called Hard 95 or something like that.
95 hard.
Yeah, and I admire their commitment to that because it's the same thing that Kelly's talking about. If they miss a day, they have to go back and start all over again. And I don't miss a day. I mean, I did miss a day when I was in the hospital. I missed several days, but that is understandable, and that I certainly gave myself compassion around that. But I don't go to bed without doing those things, and I think that's what builds confidence, because it gives you that impetus in your life that I am doing what I said I'm doing. I'm moving forward, and when I add something, then I practice that, adding it into my daily routine. So I think it does build confidence, and it makes me feel like when I walk out the door to go to work or whatever it is that I'm doing that day, I walk out knowing that I did what I said I was going to do, and that builds confidence.
Yeah, I love that. All right, ladies, believe it or not, we are almost to the end of the podcast tonight. Tina, we thank you so much for being here with us. We want to give you an opportunity to share your contact information with the audience. How can they get a hold of you, and anything else that you would like to share with them?
Absolutely. So the best way to get a hold of me is at tina@excellingyourbussiness.com. It is Excel like with one L, because it's a play off of Microsoft Excel. So excelling, EXCELING, yourbusiness.com. And if anybody wants to email me and with the heading of Fearless, I will gift you my Fortune Follow-Up Tracker. So what that is it's a spreadsheet that helps you know when to follow up with people. And what I do is I put all my notes in it, so every time I talk to somebody, I create a new record, and I have dates that are that automatically color code, so you know who you need to contact this week, in the current week, all the time. And it just makes it really easy to follow up with people and to be able to ask good questions based on what you've talked about with them before. So because you've made notes every time you talk to them and they're in the records, you can ask great questions about them and their family and their life, and they think, and it makes you the hero because you are so knowledgeable about them because you wrote down some notes. And so it just helps to build that know, like, and trust that we all want to build with people and create that better relationship.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. I'm going to be emailing you for sure. And
awesome.
We'd love for you to put a link or that information into the Facebook group so that our listeners can have easy access to that information, just in case, they're listening to it while they're taking a walk, or they're listening to this in their car. They're not able to write that down. They can go to the Facebook group and be able to find it there.
I will absolutely do that in the morning because it's a little bit late here tonight. So.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. A lot of our people who listen in the morning anyway. So
okay.
It's all. So, yeah, well, we thank you so much for being here tonight with us. Is there any last thing that you would like to talk about with being accountable and how it boosts your confidence?
Well, I think sometimes you just need a partner to talk to and to ask questions of, or just don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. I guess that's probably my biggest takeaway over my learning how to become my own business person and stuff. I never wanted to ask for help. I always thought I had to do it on my own. But I've realized we all need help somewhere along the lines. And I'm really good at giving help. I was very bad at accepting help. So really learning that receiving is really important because it's allowing others to give. And I think that's really important for most of us women to understand and to learn, because most of us are givers, not receivers.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. Terry, any last thoughts?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more on that particular thought when it comes to confidence, because as a recovering perfectionist, to ask for help was like, oh man, I would never ask for help because then it would show that I was weak, right? And that I couldn't do what I do. So I've learned and practiced and am somewhat comfortable in asking for help, so much more than I was, and being able to receive. And this experience of being so sick and having so many people pray for me, and I just was open to receive it. And so that was another layer of practice that showed me the importance of receiving. And I think that is such an important component of accountability, because you're being accountable to give and receive. And when you receive, like you said, it's a gift that you're giving to others because they want to give to you. Yeah.
Love that. Love everything both of you said. Thank you again for this time and all of your expertise and wisdom that you've shared with us tonight. We want to remind you all that the 12 Steps to Freedom were created by Rhonda Britton, the CEO and founder of the Fearless Living Institute. If you would like to know more about Fearless Living, please go check it out at fearlessliving.org. If you'd like to know more about Terry and I, please go to fearlessgenerations.org, and you can find out everything there about our workshop, our book group that's coming up starting February 19th. We would love to have you there. Also, our upcoming retreat in September, and all the great stuff we do all the time. You can find all of the past 9 years plus of episodes to the podcast there as well. So go check it out. I work on it really hard, so go look at it. So we thank you all for being here. We ask you to keep coming back and share this with your friends. And until next week, everybody, be fearless.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.